back, book lovers, dragon riders, and certified romantasy addicts. You're listening to Pages and Poor Decisions, the podcast where we sip and spill, and maybe spill our wine, because like I did, and obsess over our favorite books, one poor decision at a time.
Whoop, whoop. Today we're diving into the epic conclusion of Onyx Storm Deep Dive. It's a deep dive, part 3. All right. We are calling it The Wrath of Dunne. And if you know, you know, where we unpacked every last twist and heart-stopping moment Rebecca Yarros has thrown at us.
We've laughed. We've screamed. I definitely cried a lot, like a lot. But now it's time to break down this final stretch and see how Onyx Storm left us. Whole, broken, somewhere in between, but probably mostly definitely broken, for sure. Horrible hangover. Tonight's wine selection that we will be drinking while podcasting this evening is this lovely Rabble Red Wine from Paso Robles. I saw this label and immediately thought Battle of Drathis. Everything is, or maybe even Battle of Suniva. Everything's like on fire and just going crazy. Chaos, destruction, fight for survival. Sounds like the perfect pour to our latest book discussion.
Mass hysteria. Yeah. I was just staring at the label. I'm like, this is intricate. I'm digging it a lot. I think I'll put it on my wall. So, Rabble Red Wine. It's bold. It's fruit forward. A red blend. It typically features flavors of ripe blackberries, dark cherries, and a little plum. It's balanced with notes of vanilla and cocoa and a hint of spice from aging oak. So it has a smooth, velvety texture with a touch of acidity, of course, that keeps it lively because, you know, it's wine. And you should expect a juicy, rich mouthfeel, like if you're kissing
That's a new one.
With a lingering, slightly smoky finish. Thanks, Zayden. Perfect for a night of intense book discussions. So grab glass, grab your copy of Onyx Storm, whether it's audiobook, Kindle, physical, whatever. And let's get into it.
Oh, you said velvety texture. And I think something of Zayden's has been described with the velvety texture as well.
A little some.
Yeah. So this is just a friendly reminder, folks, that this podcast is not meant for little ears. Obviously, we do not filter our language and we do discuss adult themes. So in basic terms, not child friendly. So cheers.
Nope,
let's get into it. Can you pour your glass of wine? What are you doing?
Every time. I'm reveling like, in the
Zayden's velvety texture.
The artwork. The velvety texture and artwork. Some velvet texture for sure. Cheers. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. Cheers. Cheers. Ooh, oh yeah, that's
described
tasty.
Perfectly. Ooh, that's good.
Indeed.
And it's not intense. Like it's light enough and smooth.
Camping.
Like you can't. It doesn't even really linger.
No, it doesn't. It is very smooth. This is a highly recommend.
That's dangerous.
To try. I bought mine at Target. I think you bought yours at Total Wine.
But the MTL. You know, Kansas, it's I
don't know what that means.
Discount liquor because it's on Metcalf. But if you're from Kansas City, you know. So push. It's huge.
Great. Well, I got mine at Target because I can buy, alcohol in a regular store. So
stupid Kansas.
Anyways, let's get into it. We are picking up where we left off. We had just met the Irids. Everything kind of went sideways. They won't accept Andarna, shunned all of mankind. And anything Venin is your mess to deal with. Like basically, we're a peace-loving people. We don't want anything to do with whatever you got going on your continent. Best of luck. Go
Keep
with God.
Out of it.
Assholes. Just assholes. Asshole Irids.
Asshole Irids.
Like, I felt so bad for Andarna. Like, she was just so heartbroken because she was so excited to finally find her people.
Well, think about it this way. If you haven't known your parents, let's say you're an orphan your whole life, you finally find them and they're like, no, we don't care about you.
You're like, no, best of luck.
You'd be devastated. And that happens all the time.
Yeah, I feel so bad for poor Andarna. So Riddick finds out that Zayden is Venin. Riddick sees that Zayden's eyes were red for that moment that the Irid put or removed whatever glamour was in place there, revealing his true nature. And that's kind of
Glamour.
where we left off. Oh, did you say glamour?
That's it. You just said glamour. I was like, that's interesting. Like,
I did. Yeah.
I glamored myself.
That's what I thought of it like, as some sort
Did
of
he
glamour.
mask it themselves?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't put it past anything. I wouldn't put it past Rebecca on anything.
True. She's a sneaky little one. She's a sneaky. Violet and Riddick go traveling up the mountain to go have their little discussion. They take their little sound shield with them. Riddick is so mad. And it's weird seeing him in this type of capacity because he's always the jokester.
And he's serious.
Like funny, comedic relief. And then you have this super serious Riddick that is so upset that Violet kept a secret from him. Like, they're out here all risking their lives. Why? Because Xaden is venom. They're talking and he's like, I will keep your secret, but I need to know that there's a line. And Violet's like, well, there's no line. Like, I love him. That's it. And he's like, no, there is a line. What is that line? When will you realize that he's beyond redemption at this point? And he's like, when they hurt your family, your friends, your dragon, like, what will it take for you to say enough is enough? And she's like, well, yeah, if my friends, my dragons, me, when he hurts me, I will believe that he no longer belongs to himself. And like that's the line. That's it.
Yeah.
Deal. Great. They start leaving. And I think at one point, like, during their argument, because they have magic on this little island, she produces a lightning strike. So they start going down. They run into Xaden. And he's like, I will keep your secret to Xaden as long as she can tell Rihanna and Sawyer and Jacinia. And Xaden's like, deal. And he's like, so by the way, that lightning, that wasn't like, yeah, it was her, but that wasn't like us. Like, if you know what I mean. And
we weren't doing
like,
it.
Yeah, no shit. That lightning strike was nowhere near like big enough. Riddick's like,
nice, Xaden.
Yeah, we're not back to telling dick jokes yet. They are there on the island, and Violet, now realizing kind of hopelessly that there's no cure based on what the Irid said, she doesn't feel like they need to continue on to Loisum, which is where they were going to hit next, which is the Isle of Loyal, the god of love. And instead of going there, she kind of has this defeat and is like, no, let's just go back home. So off they go back to Basgiath. And I think they were gone for about 3 weeks in total. 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. So they get back, they land. Ree immediately comes running out. They all have like their like group hug. Cat too.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy Atos says, Cat, it looks like you bumped up another position to the Paromial throne. Immediately, she's like, what happened to Serena? That's like, her thoughts are like, what happened to my sister? Nothing. Atos is just staring there like, I don't know. And she's like, Takaris, like, what's happening? Somebody tell me something. And they find out that Venom sacked the city of Suniva and killed Queen Mariah. Queen Mariah had named Takaris as her heir because she refused any marriage proposals from anybody in the Isles, which she apparently received multiples. And she's like, no, I don't like any of you. Takaris is my heir, and that's that. So now Cat is second in line to the Paromish throne. Atos also hands Violet a letter, which has already been opened because that's what they do.
They just read everybody's mail.
Yeah, just reads everybody's mail. It's from Theophany. And he calls it a perplexing read. I don't know if this is an act because I feel like Atos is in on all of it still. But she says, your riot looked a little haggard when you flew over Pavis. Why do you go through all the trouble when I have the one thing that you seek? Can't wait till our next rendezvous. Kisses.
Besties. Road trip.
Besties. Don't worry. I'm making all the arrangements. See you soon. It's like,
yeah, I got the hotel.
Gossip Girl.
The wine. Backstreet Boys tickets. Okay. Atos.
Yeah, so he has read this letter. I think he knows who Theophany is. So I think he knows.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, they have opened everyone's mail and missives. Like, why would he open something and be like, oh, this is from some random person from Pavis, and then give it to a cadet? If he doesn't already know and is possibly working with them and he is Venom,
See, I don't know if he's venom though, but I do think he's working with
God,
them.
he's kind of an asshole.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I think
Leadership's. You think he what?
I won't bring it up later. I think he killed someone. And I think that one is Violet's dad.
Yeah. Leadership separates the squad and debriefs them for like 12 hours. 12 hours. Kill me now. Atos is pissed off because he can't punish them because King Tori is just so relieved that his son is alive and back that like he's forbidden any type of punishment. So no court-martialing today, folks. Everyone's safe. Mira and Garrick are back at the front lines of Drathis. Brennan came to mend Violet's ribs. So when she fought Queen Morales at Unreal, she got knocked in the ribs pretty good. She heard a rib crack. So they didn't have healers. They don't have magically gifted healers or menders. They only had Traeger, which was the flyer healer. And so they get back. Brennan comes, mends her ribs. Drake goes back to Corden with his little buddy Broccoli. And I hope we see him in book number 4.
What I hope to see is, yes, Broccoli and everyone else. Rebecca said that everything that they got on the Isle of Luck, Zanal, is important. So I think all of them are going to come back around later.
How does Riddick's kiss come back around?
He likes to hit on everyone.
Maybe.
Sam. But I fuck like a third. I love that line.
Okay. Violet goes back to class, trying to play catch up, from on her little rendezvous for the last several weeks. They're in battle brief dissecting the fall of Suniva, so the battle where they killed Queen Mariah. 25,000 people lost their lives, including the queen, and all but 2 dragons and 1 rider survived. So the 2 dragons and 1 rider got out, obviously relayed the message back to whomever, and that's how we're learning about what happened there. The Venom completely ransacked the armory where there was 6 crates of freshly delivered alloy hilted daggers. They took them all. So what need does the Venom have for the alloy hilted daggers? That's a question that I think we will have to try to cover later. How did they know they were there? Professor DeVera says there is obviously a traitor in our ranks. Atos? I don't know. And why so many? Atos. They were supposed to be a distribution point, and drifts were going to come pick up the weapons that they needed and take them to the other cities in the morning, and they just didn't have time. So it's like as soon as they were delivered, the city was ransacked, and
so they knew immediately when it was going to drop and
correct.
Yeah, where to find it.
Zaddy's back to being hot professor. So they find out that the Venom and the Wyvern were sneaking their way over in the middle of a storm. That's how they got access to the city. And it was led by Theophany, their lightning wielder. For them to arrive safely within the storm, and with that amount of practice, she must be a maven or a sage. We don't know. That's what everyone is arguing, that there's no way that they could transport or travel within a storm. And Violet's just like, oh, I can do it. So she's kind of freaked out a little bit, and she's like, but maybe I'll be that powerful in 20 years from now, 30 years from now. So she's super stressed out about that. Class ends and they go to the archives because Riddick wants to tell Sawyer, Ree, and Jacinia that Zaddy's a Venom.
Or Zayden.
So we're going to see how that pans out. So Jacinia hands her, I'm pretty sure, a stack
they were actually
of 6
really
books.
good about it.
They were really good about it because they're better as a group, Jacinia hands Violet a package. So I think the scribes get the mail, and then I think leadership then goes through everything, and then it gets disseminated across to everybody.
Just rifles through it. What secrets you got?
Yeah. Let's here. What do you got? You got some money? What do you got here? Jacinia intercepts this package for Violet, so gets it before it can be tampered with, opened, and rifled through. Gives it to Violet, and I don't think she opened it right there. But she was like, oh, it's from a seamstress in Shantara. It wasn't Shantara. It was Deverelli, wasn't it? Shantara was... Why did I think Shantara was the little town that they fly to go to the bar? No, Shantara is the town where the bar is. Oh, but it is from a seamstress in Shantara. So I wonder if he bought the silk took it to Shantara, had the lady make it.
So bought the fabric. And then he's like, I need you to make it just like this. So then Dane doesn't know what he ordered it for. Or maybe he does. But
maybe, do you think the silk was in that black velvet bag he came out with?
Yes.
So they're in this private room in the archives talking to Jacinia. They're grilling Sawyer about trying to find another way to fly because he's just dead set on consulting with the retirees, apparently, because, what kind of life is that? But then he finally admits that he has been working on a prosthesis. I can't say that word. Prosthesis, because he's a metallurgist, so he can just metallurgy him a prosthesis. Anyways, so they're sitting there talking, and Riddick's like, you tell them or I will. And so Violet's like, well, I guess it's so Xaden's slowly turning venom. So there's that.
That's what we have going for us.
Ugh.
They all actually, I think they've got her back. We got you, chick. We're the four. We're the friends. We're better together. If you say he's okay and you want to save him, by golly, I'm gonna help you.
But it's really 5 because Jacinia is there.
Right. Let's not discount Jacinia. She's the one that's gonna survive everybody. I mean, she's writing the books.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Violet has a dream, or it's more of a nightmare. We call it dreams, but to me, that's a nightmare. Being suspended with an invisible hand around her throat, as book talk girlies will call that something different. But as lightning strikes in the distance, Sage says, "I'll allow you to save her if you submit." She's like, wait, now Sage is dead. They didn't kill him. They'd killed the sage. And so the sage holds up a sword with emeralds on the hilt of it. And then she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She wakes up like, oh my God, it's a dream. She calms down. Just a dream. What the heck? Just like last year or a few months ago. She decides to walk across the room and she saw that opened package that she's opened already that Jacinia gave her. And she opens it up. And we realize it's a Deverelli silk nightgown. And she's like, oh, Xaden must have seen me eyeing that fabric, that silk, when we were in the aisles, when we were in that, going to see Norelle, getting those books from my dad. And there's a note in it that says, for the nights I can't sleep next to you. Like, what? Wouldn't you want to sleep next to her in it? Nah, whatever.
Well, professor-student relationship.
That's right, because they are not allowed to be seen together since he's a hot professor now, and I'm going to be British. Mm-hmm. The next day, they're practicing battle mouths. And Kaori would project a venom in the field, so on the ground. And then everyone is supposed to run, jump on your dragon, fly in, do a crazy dismount, run off their dragon, and then use their whatever best way that they can kill it or attack it, either if it's one of their signets or some type of wielding or just swords, whatever. So I love this scene because you get Bodhi. Bodhi gets to go first. Stellar, amazing. And it's like, holy shit, I can't do this. He jumps off. Wait, and pieces out. She's like, I want to die. I'm going to die. And Taryn's just like, hey, we're going to do it our way. Calm the fuck down. Of course, she's like the last one to do it. So she notices, she's like, man, Bodhi is perfect at everything. Violet's like talking to Xaden over her little mind connection. She's like, man, I think I fell for the wrong. Ryerson, like, I fell for the wrong. He's like, oh, it would be a shame to kill my last living relative. She's like, yeah, I like that. Good job, Xaden. Cut her right off. Everyone does their little rendition of the maneuvers and the kill shot of the venom perfectly. And then it's Violet. Her and Taryn, they got it. They do their crazy badass shit where she like jumps off of him and she's like flying midair and he grabs her by the shoulders and she's like, ah, that's my favorite. Ah. Right down, grabs her shoulders with a claw, hits the ground, then she sprints towards the projection and then strikes it with lightning. Bam. And then she's like, hey, and gets picked up again. And he throws her in the air. They're all like, what the fuck are you doing? He does some maneuver and she lands perfectly on his back and finds her seat.
How do you get thrown and not look like a rag doll just like flying through the air.
What I was thinking is they're like little T-Rex arms, right? You're going to grab her up, pick her up, and she's like, okay, legs open, knees apart. Legs open, knees apart. Land. Okay, I did it. Grab onto some shit. You're good to go. Good to go. She cradles all to her saddle. She's fine. She's fine. Xaden and Violet get to have a little meeting afterwards because it's a little easier for them to talk now that Amber Mavis is out of the picture and following them around. So he's like, man, that was terrifying.
And Aura Benhaven.
Aura Benhaven, that's right. Sorry. I get those two confused all the time.
Amber Mavis was also a bitch, so.
I mean, when your name starts with an A, it's not going to be good.
Ashley.
So, naturally. Okay. She gives Xaden a piece of parchment and a present. She's like, here you go. And the present is an onyx metal wrist cuff. Onyx metal wrist cuff. Okay, so like a bracelet? Is it just like a long way of saying bracelet? Mm-hmm. Here's a bracelet for you, but it's super manly, so it's a wrist cuff. It has a rectangle stone on it from one of the like shingles or whatever from the roof of Ryerson House. And he was just like, oh God, this is so thoughtful. She's like, happy birthday. I love you. And he's like, yeah, but you should still really run. And she's like, never. So then he admits to her that it's been 47 days since he's channeled in Deverelli. And she asks, do you have a specific number, like a goal in mind before you feel like you're in control? And he's like, well, I've got a number. I've got one that might indicate stability. I would say that's good, but we don't have a lot to go on here. So then Felix interrupts their little precious moment, big gifts and whatnot. He flew in from Mauritia carrying missives for Xaden and said that more wyvern have gotten past the wards. They've been breaching every week further and further into Eurasia, and they may only have a month left before the wards completely fail and they can get taken over. So Felix is here at Best Guy to teach Violet, since she refuses to train with Carr, because guy's an asshole. Why would you want to train with him? So they're trying to get this going so we can help and start fighting. So it's been about 30 weeks of training, and the squad talks about their upcoming trip to Eurasia for their rotation. And a ruckus starts to happen in the hallway. Duke Llewellyn, is shouting at the Duke of Caldier, we're opening our borders to Tyrandor. We will not stand idly by as civilians were killed. Halden shows up to say, I forbid this. This is not happening. Sorry, the king won't allow it. I won't allow it. Now, Dunne finally arrives in there after being in Eurasia for the last 10 days and says that what Llewellyn says stands because he's the Duke of Tyrandor. So if Halden brings his troops to Tyrandor, nope. Auric will find himself first in line as prince, which means he's going to take care of Halden. His eyes are cold and calculating. He's like, well, he didn't say that. Violet shouts down the bond. He's like, get off the ice, because he's got that cold, calculating look where he's just lost all feeling. And she's like, get off the ice. So he's like, okay. What our takeaway here is she's got to call him back again. Wyvern have made it halfway into Eurasia. They're almost out of time. Then out of nowhere, there's a cadet that manifests a signet like in the hallway, and it's shadows. They just explode out everywhere. And he's like, it's not me. And it's this guy, Lynx, a first year that we've I think they brought him up a little bit earlier. Xaden helps him calm down and tells Rihanna to get him to Professor Carr now so they can figure it out and like train it. So he's not just freaking out and sending shadows everywhere. They look at each other, Violet and Xaden. She's like, a shadow wielder? And he's like, magic knows. There's got to be balance. So once you turn Venom, there's got to be a new one who's not Venom. So he's like, shit, I have to go to Eurasia. She begs him to stay and fight for us. Stay and fight for me. Fight for this. And she's like, the man I fell in love with would stay and fight. It's like, what about the dragons? What about me? What would happen to the bond between us and them? Especially if you turn. And his face flutters through a range of emotions. Like, that's what I just assumed it would look like, right? And then it's just like ice cold. Like, he just shuts down. And he says, you have to accept what I already have. The man you love no longer fully belongs to himself. Then Llewellyn's like, Tyrandor needs him. It's hard to love someone in power. Llewellyn doesn't even know. And he leaves to go to Eurasia like 2 hours later. Xaden. So Sawyer asked the Violets to watch him try mounting. Just him. He doesn't want to make a fool of himself, right? So she's like, Violet's fine. She's gonna help me. He made what were you trying to say earlier? A prosthesis? Oh my gosh, did I say that right? A prosthetic leg.
Mm-hmm.
He got up his dragon, Slee Sig, and yeah, it worked. It took a few times, but it worked. So, I mean, we all thought about that. We're like, well, if you're a metallurgist, you can make a fucking leg, strap it on, figure it out. Use a saddle. You're not retiring. So he was able to get on his dragon. And then he gets to fly with the rotation from Basgaeth to go to Eratia for just the rotation. And she gets there. She goes straight to Xaden's room. And she's like, it's exactly how I last saw it. Nothing has been changed. Like, her old pathetic runes are sitting there on the desk, like her clothes in the drawer, shit, probably like a water glass she sipped out of. He just probably left it there. I don't know. Just, why not? It's like, okay, that's where Violet's lips were. Don't know why I went there. So the only change in this room was the empty glass box that he got from Zinal. That was the gift from the Isle of Luck, and the emerald hilted dagger he put inside of it. That was his. But it's missing one of the stones, one of the emerald gems. Brennan shows up at the door. Knock, 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 knock. They talk, catch up a little bit. He's like, I can't mend him. I can't mend him. It's not something you can mend. She's like, well, shit.
It was sitting with they went and sat with the eggs at the hatching ground. Like they were trying like all this, like, yeah, they sat with the eggs at the hatching ground. Like, I just imagine them sitting there with like crystals and just
getting that moon energy. Mend me, goddess. Okay, that makes more sense.
Take the power back.
I'll give it to you. I was like, the eggs from the hatching ground. Like, I thought they were like using it to like grind into like snorting it or something, like or sprinkle it in your orange juice or some shit like that.
Maybe they should try that too. I don't know.
And then I think it's like, well, what if we go back to what if we go back to Basgaeth and mend the spot there? Can we put magic back into where I drew? And just like, we're trying to figure everything out, Violet. And Violet just starts grinning. She's like, what's wrong with you? He hasn't given up yet. He's still trying. But he's literally like, you should run. We can't outrun this.
So why haven't they tried to take Sloane and siphon the power out of him and put it back into the earth?
Ding, 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 ding. That is the question of the entire book. Give her a prize. It's wine.
More wine, please.
Meanwhile, we're all just going to class. World is ending. Yeah. We're going to class. She can't do runes for shit. I don't know why she didn't just ask for help. Like, Xaden knows. Kat knows. Fucking ask for help. You don't have time for this shit. She's wearing her new Devarelli nightgown while working on her runes in her room.
Fancy.
Guess who shows up at her door?
I imagine he's like standing out there just like...
Was he cold or was he also wet?
Both. Because it's raining.
So, like, looking down, his hair's in his face, dripping down. Dude.
Like, doing the door lean, but with, like, both hands.
Kill me now.
Like...
Kill me now. Can't wait for the adaptation. He shows up at his own door, and he's cold as wet. It's been 73 days since he channeled. It's been 70. She. I'm sorry. I was saying she, and then it was he.
Okay.
Xaden, I don't know, 73 days. Him and Sigale, they were going to go back, and then, like, Sigale changed course, and like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Let's go to Eratia. And he thought 76 was his ideal date. He said that was the number, which is twice as long as after Jack had a significant channeling. So he thought he could manage it well after 76 days. And she's like, well, fuck it. 73, that's good enough, right? And get your ass in here. Let's do a little makeout sesh and maybe throw some lightning around. What do you say? That wasn't just lightning. There was some shadow play? Shadow play?
It was very Dorian Manon-esque.
If you have read the Throne of Glass series.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's, I think, the only time I noticed a shadowy shadow play. Do we want to talk about it?
So this is another chair scene. It's not the throne scene, but it is a chair scene. And I'm still trying to figure the logistics out in my head.
Have you not seen the many TikToks of women showing you what it's supposed to look like? I'll
So
send them
just
to
funny
you.
ones where people are like trying to get up on the chair and like their husbands are walking in and they're just like, just what? That's the extent of it. So yeah,
I should
send
do
me
that.
all the
That would be
TikToks.
funny. Yes, I will. I appreciate everyone on Book Talk showing me how it is. I thought I knew, and I was pretty close.
Because like Violet's tiny and Zayden's like 6'2", I think. And so like I already imagine his torso is like pretty tall. Is he like slouching down like in the chair? Is he like sliding down? Is like getting down there?
I'm imagining him picking her up and holding her legs,
So
basically.
he's holding her up?
That's what I think. Yeah,
I thought her
holding
knees
her
were
legs.
on the arms of the chair.
Well, I understand that too. And I'm thinking maybe it's like a high chair, like high arm wing chair. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't have an armchair at home, so like this is not a theory that I can test out. And I think all you have is a lazy boy. I don't think that's gonna work.
It's not a lazy boy. It's an Ashley.
Whatever. It's a recliner.
I got a glider too. Does that count? I mean, the gliding motion would just be perfect.
I feel like that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Well, I never know until you try it, I guess.
You try it and you let me know how it goes.
I think it's wine. To get the shadowy hands and all.
That was a hot scene. That was a hot scene.
Rebecca's like, how do I go above the throne scene?
She did it.
Shadows. Moving into the next chapter, actually, the excerpt says, while most deities allow temple attendants to choose their timeline of service, only two require a lifetime of dedication. That's Dunne and Loyal. Loyal? Battle Royale? Loyal or Loyal? Which one is it?
Loyal?
For both war, right? For both war and love, change souls irrevocably.
Brain tickle here. I have a brain tickle. And when they were in Hedotus, Zayden's mom had made comments about how her ex-husband, aka Fen Ryerson, didn't like if you're gonna love, you have to save love for your children. You just need to have contract marriage to produce heirs, and that's it. And she was surprised that Zayden actually loved, and it was obviously Violet. And the whole book, he's calling her love. And
this book calls her love.
This whole book. And it's just everything is for Violet.
When I first read that, the first time he said love, I was like, it took me back a second. I had to reread the whole paragraph or like what he said. And I was like, what? He's never said that before. I was like, this is weird. So we know Violet was attempted to be dedicated to Dunne. It didn't go through, so she's just touched by the gods instead of dedicated to the gods. I'm so touched.
So she doesn't have a lifetime of dedication to Dunne. But what if maybe Zayden's mom had Zayden dedicated or partly dedicated to Loyal
so that she could have what she didn't and have
maybe
love in her life instead of just the kid?
And we really don't know a lot about Loyal right now. The only thing we know that there's an island, Loisum. We're assuming that Papa Sorengale wrote a book on it like he did with the other isles. We don't know anything about it. So this is the god that we know the least about right now.
Correct. Because they've only brought it up, how many times?
Just a handful.
I thought it was like 2.
Maybe 2 or 3.
I think probably.
It was just in relation about the island, and that's it.
Okay. While we also find this excerpt so interesting is that any of them you can have a dedication to. The two, Dunne and Loyal, require lifetime dedications. Lifetime. You're there you're doing temple duty, whatever you're doing, like everything, like she saw, just like the girl with the same hair that she had at Umbriel for Dune. So when it says, and I can't wait to get into theories on this one, for both war and love change souls irrevocably changes your soul. Okay. Xaden's not lost, man. His soul, just gotta hold on to this. It changes your soul. So doesn't mean maybe he's not even losing it like they say he is.
I'm going to save it for the
Theories?
end.
Yeah.
No, not right before we get to the theories, because there is a line from Theophany that I think ties into this. So keep going.
Okay. So Xaden also says something like, who says this, my power, my body, my soul, it's all yours. He says this to Violet. And he hasn't channeled. It's been 73 days. They have a dream together while they're sleeping. They have a dream together. She has a dream. They figure out she's in Xaden's dream because it almost seems like it's the same reoccurring dream with the sage. You'll turn for love. I'm going to come after her. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
I'm tired of waiting. A hand, she looks down and like it's trying to channel from the earth. And she notices there's like a tattoo. There's a relic running up it. She's like, wait, this isn't my fucking hand. She's like, this is a dream. And she wakes up. And then, of course, because it's nuts, she's fretful, whatever. And she wakes him up and she's like, oh, it's just a dream. Oh, yeah, me too. What did you dream about? So I told him, she's like, well, I noticed it's very odd because it was not my hand. It's got this relic right here. She's like, it's my hand? She's like, no. I mean, he's like, no, dude, you were visioning my hand. That's my hand. And she's like, shit, that's weird. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Let's look at this. How did you have my dream? Violet, do you think that's your second signet? Oh, no. That's just weird. That's a coincidence. That's just weird. Dude, I think you're dream walking. Bet you're dream walking. You know what? There's only one way to confirm. Let's go. I need to go talk to Maren. Let's go wake her ass up. It's like 3 a.m, right? She's not going to mind. Hey, Maren, I need to talk to you about your family or whatever. Sorry for waking you up. Do you miss your family? She's like talking to her about
Awkward.
Do you have a picture of them? And she's like, oh, yeah.
Like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Oh, my God. And I love this picture because I would be so afraid if I lost it. She's like, I had this dream of Maren losing her family in like this fire or whatever, and Kat's there. She's like, that's not a coincidence. I had Maren's dream, but what they realize is it was Maren's worst nightmare. They go back to their room. Dude, you're an intrinsic. You're a type of intrinsic. Calm down. We think you're Dreamwalker.
I was literally like going to die on the hill that she was a truthsayer.
I know.
I thought everything was pointing to truthsayer. Rebecca, this was not obvious at all in Iron Flame.
I mean,
if you go back and you read the dreams that she had, there were just a couple like tiny things that you're like, is this really her?
She had like 4 dreams. I know. Well,
I think there was 2.
No, because he said you'll turn for love, and then there were times where it said I'll go for her, or you can't save her, or you'll turn for her, and that's when you're like, what the hell? Right,
but like I think like the first time it happened, the lightning in the distance, she's thinking that she sees or hears Tarn or Darna, and it was not obvious that it was not her dream, especially the first one. I think the second one is where the second one was where there was like a tiny little change, because it's a reoccurring dream, but every time there was a tiny slight difference in the dream. And I think it was the second one that was something that was a little different, but it was not glaringly obvious like she said it was, that it was all over Iron. Like, no, girl, no.
What's interesting on this is that he hadn't had that moment yet. So was he having a dream about the future, or was it Venom coming in and giving him these dreams to tell him, this is what's going to happen? You need, because there were small, like you said, small changes, different robe color, or, they'd say a slightly different thing, and it's strange. I'm wondering if maybe the venom was getting into the head, like how they get into his head. I know they're super crazy strong, and he's got the best shields of anyone that you know, but is there a connection there somewhere? Or why was he having dreams of the future unless she was already had the signet and started doing this? She already had the signet, and so this started his dreams. So the connection to them in this dream was because she manifested and knew he was going to turn venom. And that was the only way that they could connect. It's very odd.
I had not thought about that because
I love
initially
doing this. I'll randomly think of something new while we're doing this. And we thought we've covered everything.
Well, so like initially I was thinking it was a shared dream. And I was thinking that it was Naolin because I still don't think he's dead. And he was the sage and was the one doing like the mind linking, pushing these dreams through. Now I don't think that's the case. I still think Naolin's alive and I still think he's a venom. But I don't know. Maybe Berwyn was like Cat and was adept at mind work. And with the venenism like heightening his senses, he can go into dreams, or he's a dream walker and Violet is the balance.
Therefore, she has the connection. Once she started manifesting that signet, she can walk into Xaden's dreams, and who knows how long Xaden's had those dreams because of Berwyn. That's good. Shit, that's good. Because we have, we haven't gotten to Berwyn yet. Okay. So now they realize that she's a type of instance. Like he goes, you can't tell anyone. You cannot tell anyone.
You gonna die.
Okay. Honestly, she probably could. Everyone fucking loves her. She could tell the classic 4, 5, don't forget Justinian. And then actually any of the marked ones because they're all diehard for each other. But keep it to yourself. But die hard for each other. At this point, Taryn interjects. He's like, we got a situation here. They're outside of Marin's door, and there's a horde of wyvern approaching. Why does something always happen when they're in the middle of the effing night? Like, they have 0 sleep. War games, they were having sex till 4 a.m., and then they were like, get called out over here. There was, you know what I mean? And then Iron Flame, they're like, hey, you need to stop what you're doing. And then it's like, Brennan's like, he's so insistent. He's like, stop, or it's going to be really fucking awkward. Or your siblings are out here and it's important. Dude, let them just live. Can they sleep at least? Like, that would piss me off. I don't know if I can function, but a horde of wyvern are approaching. Go figure. Auric tells Violet, you have to protect the Temple of Dunne. You have to protect it. There's, so I know this might be confusing, but there's temples everywhere, like small temples. So it's not just Umbriel, like that's the main deal, but there's a small temple there at Arisha. He's like, you need to protect the Temple of Dunne, and that's how we're going to save Tyrandor. She's like, what? Okay, whatever. Violet goes off. She's paired with Rhiannon, and once they're out in the shit, they end up breaking up all of them because they need to do what they need to do. They need to take people down. They're in quadrants. They're figuring it out. Violet's getting better at directing strikes, but it starts to end up blistering her hands. She's holding it too long because she's trying to be precise with them. So it's getting hot and bothered, that too. They are trailing and taking down wyvern after wyvern, heading toward a lone building outside the gates. It's the Temple of Dunne. Go figure. They get to the temple and Darna's there. Violet's like, God damn it. I told you to stay.
What are you doing here?
I told you to stay safe. I'm going to be where I'm needed, bitch. So, and Darna's like, she's supposed to protect the temple. So that's what Ark said. Protect the temple. That's what I'm doing here. Violet's like, okay, whatever. Taryn they crash. They thought they were going to die. They didn't. Aaron's got a giant wing spur in his a wing spur in his leg.
I think it was his leg or something, leg or side.
And she's like, I'm trying to get it out. And they're like, well, wyvern are coming at us. We got to hurry. Lennon shows up, saves the day, and she summons the wing spur. I mean, it's a massive, like, branch, right? Saves the day. She summons it out of his leg. And I was, holy shit, good job, Ryan. Good job. Taryn tells Darna, that her inability to follow simple orders will get her and Violet killed. And I will not lose her as I did the one who came before. Meh. Grumpy
the
old
one
Taryn.
who came before.
The one
He's
who came
not
before.
dead.
I will not lose her as I did as the one who came before. So they realize the Wyvern aren't in formation like they were at the Battle of Beskaya. The Battle of Beskaya. Violet's like, wait, okay, they're not in formation. They're just going. That means there's a dark wielder running these Wyvern, and this dark wielder was from Beskaya because they learned this isn't the same shit. I thought that we all killed them, the ones that we came across in the battle. Nope, there's one that's from Beskaya that's back. They're. Is it the same? Someone else that we know? Was Theophany there? I don't know. The Wyvern were heading back in, and there's a priestess of Dune. Like, so they have infantry, they have priestesses of Dune coming out. They're drawing short swords. The priestesses of the Dune temple. They're all running out, drawing short swords, preparing for battle. And she looks at Violet. Violet looks at her, and the priestess says, "Do you fly in the juice of men's swallowflower?" Very odd. She just like comments on her hair, and Violet's like, "What the fuck, dude? Dune isn't gonna appear and take up arms, priestess. Come on, let's go." And she's like, "Oh well, of course not. She sent you, Violet, Dune, Violet. Same, they're friends, or something." He shows up. I kind of like her though. Theophany meets Violet on the ground in front of the temple, and she looks up and she's like, I'm gonna get you, my pretty. And she's got two of her little cronies behind her, and then she looks up and she sees something that scares the shit out of her, and she flees. Like, she goes and walks up, and she's like clasp hands with her friend, like, let's go. And then they peace out. Like, what's the word we couldn't figure out?
Distance walk.
Nope.
Winnow.
It wasn't winnowing. Teleporting. And I was like, okay, so what if that's the Garrick? That's the Garrick equivalent. So you can distance wield. So they clasp hands, leave. And Xaden shows up for once. Sagail felt that Taryn was getting hurt down the bond. Well, for sure. He got a wing spur in his leg. And that's so one little thing. And Sagail gets upset. I'm going to come back and check on him. And she's fucking pissed at Violet. Dude, come on. She got Rihanna to take the thing out. She tried. She's a tiny little 4 foot something. So anyway, at this point, Leothan, the Irid, the one with the horns like Andarna, shows up. Am I right? Shows up. He had fired up the wardstone. The Irids have come. Except it's just the one. So now Arisha has a working wardstone. Yippee! Yay! Leothan wants to talk to Andarna. Oh yeah, all the Wyvern crashed down. Theophany is gone. They saved the day. Yay! It's a very anticlimactic battle, if you will, but necessary. Leothan. I'm just calling him Leo. Leo the Irid wants to talk to Andarna and Violet alone. Like, I need to talk to you too. He is Andarna's relative and part of her den, right? She's like, awesome. Listen, I will take you home and teach you if you come with me now for a few years. That's what I assume he says. And she then has to sever the bond with Violet in order to do this. No, don't do it. No, we don't want this. Don't do that. Don't do it. But I need to know where I've come from. And darn it, I know. It's okay. Just go. It's fine. So she does. She leaves. She goes with Leo and goes to learn about the other Irids and leaves Violet behind. Sam sobbing. So we had mentioned this before in the other 2 episodes that we were tandem reading. So she got to it just like, I don't know, a minute before me. And she's like, oh, God. I was like, what? No, hold on, wait. It's just like, no,
we were FaceTiming.
Yeah, because we were on our, I think that one was a 4-hour FaceTime. It's like, I was like, shit, what? Don't look ahead. Just go. I'm like a page away. And I was like, and she's like, I know, right? And so then we're both silently like crying there, right? My husband walks in. He's walking in the kitchen because I was in my lazy boy recliner, as you would say. It was comfy seat in the house. And he's like, you gals doing okay? And I was like, no, just leave me alone.
My husband was
"Okay."
laughing at
Yeah.
me.
He was like, you gals doing okay? Is there anything I can do for you? I was like, yes, bring me some wine at the bottle right there. I didn't even ask him. There was no reason. No, I didn't. Yeah, it was
Awful.
So in that moment, my immediate thought was Bella Twilight. When Edward left and she was like sitting in that
New
chair.
Moon.
Yeah,
Na, na, na,
it was New
na,
Moon.
na, 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 na.
She spent 4 days in bed. She was catatonic. I get it. Mira walks in, badass sister love, and wakes her the fuck up. Get the fuck up. It's time to get up. You've been wallowing in here for 4 days. Get up, take a goddamn shower. You stink. You're disgusting.
You stink.
Gross. And then she goes, how did you replace the power you lost? What the fuck are you talking about? What power? I don't know what you're talking about. They didn't respond to that because I think that's important. Also weird, first question. Violet goes, Brennan shows up, Jesus. And they're having a family Thanksgiving argument.
Fight.
And they're just having some sibling shit. Okay. So Zayden shows up. Hey, babe, how you doing? Fine. I need to go take a shower. Okay, I'm gonna come with you. No, I need a minute. It was the first time they said she needed to relieve herself. I was like, oh, so they do go to the bathroom. Great.
That's good. Yeah.
She's done. Zayden comes in. She's like, moment
maybe
over.
she had to poop. We don't know.
Oh, that's fair. If they're as open as I am, they don't even shut the door. But Brennan and Mira were there. Oh, I'd keep it open if it was you, so it wouldn't matter. Violet then she takes a bath. Zayden draws the water for her and pulls her hair out of the bath. I don't know. I'll just start naming things at the bathroom. It's just like scrubbing her down, washing her hair. It gets super cute. And the whole time, Mira and Brennan are arguing in her room. And Violet hears it. So she ends up entering in. They didn't realize she's back in the room. And Mira's trying to convince. So they're talking about their grandma, Nyara? Is it Nyara?
Nyara?
So she's
I don't know.
out of, what city is that? Deaconshire? She lives in
Deaconshire.
Deaconshire. So they're talking about their dad's mom. And Mira's trying to convince Brennan that Asher and Lilith, so their parents, took Violet to go get dedicated to Dunne. And that's why their mom, so grandma, Nyara, was so pissed. And then they don't speak with her because she was like not okay with it. Violet hears this and corrects them to say that dad took her to the temple in Umbriel to dedicate her when she was young, but they never finished it. Okay. She said that they were hoping it would fix her. So I'm thinking it's when she was in the womb and she was sick Lilith was sick with her and she had that half hair, breakable body or something.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
because Violet was 6. I think that she was frail.
Yeah.
Brennan said it was an attempt to fix her. Brennan said that. And she was 6. Her hair did not grow in that way. So they were mistaken. Her hair turned that way when they went to go have her dedicated. But remember, she was having this flashback to when because initially Brennan and Mira thought Asher and Lilith went. But when they went to Umbriel, they were all shocked because they hadn't seen fire breathers, dragons, in a long time. And she was like, no, it was just dad. Just dad took me.
Mira said in Fourth Wing that her hair grew that way. She goes, when did it turn this way? She goes, oh, it grew that way. Like it started from the beginning and grew that way.
But there's also people that apparently have memory erasing abilities.
Ooh, that's a good point. Shit. Same thing with that. That's a good point.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Done. Just grind it up with those dragon eggs and we'll just snort it right up. So they never finished their dedication. Right, to fix her. But why didn't it be fixed? So Lilith didn't know until they got back that this happened. As you said, it was just dad and Violet. And Mira said something that what the priestess said. She goes, oh, the priest said something like, the heart that beat for you or within you would do the wrong thing for the right reason. Reach for unspeakable power and turn dark or something like that. I think most people probably passed over this one word. because I didn't realize that until I read it the second time. It said, the heart that not beats for you, beat for you. Past tense.
Like
The
past
heart
tense.
that beat for you or within you. I think she got that wrong. The heart that beat for you would do the wrong thing for the right reason and reach for unspeakable power and turn dark. I was thinking, number one, Zayden. Duh. His heart beats for her. But beat. Past tense. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Number two, if it was within her.
Unless he dies.
I still think, no, I can't. It was also within her, which thinks that she literally holds Zayden's heart, which goes back to the Loyal comment. He holds her heart,
think she
her soul, everything.
has a piece of his soul. Everything and everyone.
Everything and everyone. 3. She said beat, not beats. I mean, this is Rebecca doesn't say anything without saying something. Past tense is to beat for her. Bear with me. If she holds his soul and heart, she would be Dunne and loyal, right? What was that other
Which
saying?
goes back to
Dunne-
my comment. What if she was dedicated to all the gods?
I
And
thought
she's
that
like, maybe then she's Amari, like queen of the gods. I don't fucking know.
Dunne and loyal, war and love, soul, change souls. Maybe Zayden hasn't lost his soul at all because there's nothing to
Maybe he was
lose.
dedicated to Loyal.
His soul belongs elsewhere, so he can't actually lose it. And the fact that Violet maybe has his heart, you said that, I don't know, maybe soul, I don't know, that it's no longer his own. So he can't lose that either. Only returns from the ice that he's on when Violet is there snapping him out of it because she gives him access to his heart. So he's only himself around her. And he says he only feels like himself around her. She has access to his heart, to his soul. What else? His mind? Obviously now, because she's a dreamwalker or whatever, intrinsic. I think she is also touched by every single god. And I'm going to tell you this now. I haven't thought about this in a while. This book broke my brain. Yeah, I was touching this. This book broke my brain.
Yes.
We'll get back to that. Anyway, Zayden says, okay, let's get back to Mira and Brennan.
Wait. Mira is what she is saying about what the priestess said. Did she specifically go talk to a priestess of Dunne, or is this regurgitated information from Niara? Because
that's a good question. Because she does not specify. She just said the priestess said this, and it's like, when did you fucking talk to a priestess? Or was it the priestess during that battle? I'm wondering, when would she have talked to her?
So
do they all just know all the information?
But that's what I'm saying. So like Asher took her to Unbriel to have her dedicated. So that happened in Unbriel.
Yeah, like,
do the priestesses here, do they share collective conscience?
I know, because they all seem to know the same shit, right?
Do they have a computer system with all their records in it?
Here's a download of this person's file.
But she said there was no name with Sorengale. Obviously, like if they went to any of the temples in Navarre, I don't think they would. And I wonder if he did it under Daxton and Unbriel, or if it's under Sorengale. We'll get to that when we cover the theories.
Wow. So Mira,
tickling my
Mira
brain.
says, it's broken. It's broken. And yet still working somehow. So Mary said all this. The heart that beat for you. I'm assuming they all assume she said beats for you. We'll do the wrong thing for the right reason. Zayden goes, it's me. It's me. It's me. I'm the one that turned Violet's. I'm the one that turned. Violet's not turning, and Mira is fucking pissed. Dagger's ready. Classic Sorengale move. She's yelling at him, you're a fucking villain. And then he's like, I will not hurt her. And he's stable. Violet attests to this as well. She's pissed. She's looking at Brennan. You knew? Yeah, he's fine. We're good. She's like, you two keep this shit from me. And then Violet's like, well, you've kept all that shit from me. So that's stuff I deserve to know. Don't you think? Aiden's reading Mira's intentions and says, nah, she doesn't intend to tell anyone. Don't worry about it. And then Mira leaves in a fitful rage, slams the door after telling Brennan that he taught Vi to lie well. Man, you taught her sister to lie fucking well, you son of a bitch. Slams the door and pieces out. Awkward.
Yeah, but like Mira, I feel like,
I feel bad for
yes,
Mira.
obviously keeping secrets is not good. But when it comes to like all that information on Violet when she went and saw Niara, she should have said that stuff to Violet.
I know. She had
Especially
that
when
chance
they
right
went
there.
to, right, especially when they went to go see Narelle and the letter, or maybe it was when she got the book, The Second Croveland Uprising. That letter that Asher left her was like, only trust Mira.
Right.
I know Mira saw that letter because I'm pretty sure Violet showed her that letter. Like, why wouldn't Mira
Go to her.
Anyways,
Say, hey, you can trust me. I got you. You're my baby sis, girl. You're my baby sis. Do you have me, Sam? Do you got me?
yeah.
Would you protect me?
Yeah, I would tell you anything.
With my secrets?
Yeah.
Or I'd tell you my secrets?
Yeah, I'd tell you my secrets. I don't have any
great.
secrets.
I don't think I have secrets. There's stuff you just don't like tell people about. Like well, I do tell you about my bowel movements, but that's neither here nor there.
You do.
So
you used to Snapchat me during your bowel movements. I don't.
Just to clarify, I did not snap the poop. I snapped myself. So
Or your surroundings.
Don't judge me on that. Yeah, because cats be coming in every 5 seconds. You okay there?
Or like the stall that you're in. Very random snaps while you were pooping.
If it was notable.
And sometimes you call me while you're pooping, and that's fine.
Oh, yeah, I like doing that more. Pass the time.
Anyways, Navarre is now one step away from declaring war on Tyrrendor for defying the Cenarium because they're letting in the civilians.
Oh my God, you said it right. Congratulations.
Just don't get me to say the triumvirate. We're not going to do that today.
I realized I was like triumvirate. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. Dumbass.
So piece of shit Halden is going to play the big bad guy and be like, I'm going to have all these troops here. So he's got troops lined up all on the Khaldir border, which borders Tyrrendor. And so, you know what? Zayden's like, you know what? I'm going to cut off all my supply of Palladium to you guys. And Palladium is something that they use for something and can't tell you what that something is right this moment. So, because I don't remember. But it's important. I don't know if it's for weaponry.
It's importante.
It's importante. And I'm going to leave that at that. So they're very upset because they can't have their Palladium. It sounds like it's a metal of some sort, Palladium. Maybe they use it for making weaponry.
Okay. It's what they use in the daggers. Oh, yeah, that's the metal they use in daggers. I was like, I thought it was, but I didn't want to be wrong because they use that and they say a few other ores and like dragon eggshells in order to make to carry the magic after the hatchlings have been long gone.
The dragon eggshells were put into the alloy,
which is the Palladium. Alloy. Yes, it's Palladium, other ores, he said. Well, actually, Mira's the one that told her that the first time she went to hang out with her and ran into her at Samara. It's Palladium, other ores, and dragon eggshells. So yeah, you got it. Palladium. So they can't make
Palladium.
The daggers there at Basgaeth or anywhere else because they apparently have like all of the Palladium in their area or something. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
So there's a forge at Basgaeth, and apparently now it's at a standstill because they don't have any Palladium because Halden's throwing a temper tantrum.
You know what? Halden is kind of growing on me a little bit.
Ew.
I don't know what it is. I need to see more of him. I think I need to see his arc. I think he's going to change like Dane. Like, I can fix him. No, really, I can.
Yep. Okay. Right. We love Taylor Swift around here. That just threw me. My brain's not working now. Anyway, okay. So Palladium.
Now
Violet. Yeah. Now we know. Violet is she just cannot figure this rune shit out. Like, whatever. So Quinn comes in and is like, you know what? This is what you need to do. Like, you just got to just yank it and just do it. In Iron Flame, she talks about when they first started doing runes.
Yank it and do it.
She was like, when she was trying to distinguish between, like what to do, she went for Indarna's power. She's like, this just feels more approachable and like malleable, and I can work with this. And Taryn's power is just like big and overwhelming and whatever.
Gosh.
And so Quinn's just like, you just got to get in there and you just got to fucking do it. Just do it. And so that's what she does. She gets in there and she's like, I'm just going to grab this shit and just
Harder and rougher.
Harder and rougher. Yeah. Get it, girl.
Yeah, get into it.
I think
harder and
Riddick
rougher.
made a joke there too. Like, I'm sure you can do it considering who you're sleeping with.
Harder and rougher. Riddick knows.
He knows.
He knows.
Riddick. So yeah,
like
she figures it out. I'm gonna make a t-shirt, a Riddick t-shirt.
Get out of your brain.
Gosh. All right. So Felix is there and he like yanks her out of class to practice wielding. And she tells him that she was able to split the bolt into two and hit its target. And it was not from a cloud, like she did it from the sky. She did it from the sky.
Yes.
I think that's important.
Correct.
I think that's important.
Correct.
And then Brendan has to mend her, of course, from overdoing it because she's Violet and she's an overachiever. That's fine. And Zayden's over there yelling at Bodhi about the line of succession and how he can't fight. He needs to finish college and he needs to take his seat in Tyrandor's throne if Zayden can't. And because like Bodhi wants to go and like leave school and just like fight and not finish or whatever.
Like,
he's like, no, you have to first go to school.
Yep. Someone's got to be the
real
dad.
Man. Yeah, right. And Violet's like, are you preparing for your demise? And like he's just over there casually like, blah, 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 blah. So how was your day, love? And she's like, are we talking about pleasantries right now? My day was great. Like I did this in runes, blah, blah, blah. Are you preparing for your demise?
He was like, well, my day was great.
And he's like, yes, but I'm still going to fight for it. She notices that he kind of has like a peace about him that like he's planning for himself to not be in the picture and is like at peace about it.
So what you're saying is you're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy about it.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So Zayden is opening up Zayden's opening up a letter and it came from the High Priestess of Dunne, thanking Violet and Rhiannon for their help or whatever.
Thank you.
And that she's in his debt and owes him a favor.
You know what favor I think that should be? Give me back my fucking soul.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
That's a good favor. Like, hey, man.
That is a good favor.
I'll take it down.
I know. So that night, there's another dream nightmare thing. They're back in Drathis. She recognizes it as Drathis at this point and has an awareness to it this time. And once she realizes that she's in Zayden's dream, it separates herself from it being like her perspective to now she's like an onlooker or like participant in the dream. And she's able to talk to Zayden and touch Zayden. So like they have an interaction in this dream now. And the sage is there and is like, I grow tired of this game. You will come or she dies, Dreamwalker. So the sage is aware of Violet's presence in this dream. So we're assuming, yes, the sage is aware of Violet's presence in these dreams, plural. I think he's known she's been there this entire time. So once she's had this awareness that this is not her dream and it's Zane's dream, that's when she's able to separate herself, and she has learned that she can wake herself up by inflicting pain on herself in the dream. Mm-hmm. So she does that. She takes the dagger, tries to slices her arm open, wakes up and is like, oh my God, shakes Zayden up and like gets him awake. And she's confused because Andarna's gone. And she's like, how is this still here? Like, how do I still have this ability without Andarna? And he's like, well, maybe you maintained the ability without her power.
Doesn't make any sense. Sense.
It doesn't. But you think back to the comment that the Irid made when they were on the beach on that island. You've handed this human something far more dangerous to wield, haven't you?
And we were like, what is it? Yeah. Do you think that is what they're referring to? The dream walking? I don't think that's as dangerous. I think it's got to be something more.
They kept saying that they were magic. So did they hand her just pure power or pure magic?
Magic.
I don't know.
I think so too. I think that ties into what we've thought from Fourth Wing. We can dive back into that later. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to your comment about how they get interrupted in the middle of the night, Garrick shows up at the door, middle of the night.
God damn it.
All
Garrick.
bloodied up. I
He's, like,
know, right?
waving from his head.
She's just focused on like this like giant shield he's holding, and she's just like, how is he holding that? Like I don't think I could something that big. Like she's
Captain
just
America.
so focused on this, right? But like times 10, like this thing is huge. And
You think it's that big?
Garrick is like, she was saying like it's a big shield, like bigger. It was bigger than her. She's like, I wouldn't be able to hold
we're talking
that.
about shields, like the shields that Mira gave her to be like, see if this works, like a fake shield, or you mean like a real, like I'm holding a goddamn regular iron, whatever, steel shield.
It looks like a shield.
Maybe it looks like
Stand
you
by.
haven't seen shit. You read it,
but what the description says, it's a shield, not a
magic shield,
magical shield that goes over him. It's a physical thing.
So what you're saying is it's not Doctor Strange, it's Captain America, right, but larger.
Correct. So Garrick was out on patrol. They got bombarded during their patrol, and so Garrick was sent back to deliver a message. They're at Drathis, which has obviously been the location in all of Xaden's dreams. You have 5 hours to bring Bodhi and Violet, or she dies. This giant shield Violet recognizes as one of Time's scales.
Who is
Theophany has Mira.
Get the
Theophany has Mira.
I did not pick up Tiny's shield or scale. Gotta read it again.
So,
oh my God.
So Violet's scale vest, remember she said that they had someone that shrunk the scales down to make the vest.
So the shield that we were arguing about is a
scale
is
going to be fucking huge. He's like holding this giant fucking shield. Scale. It's a scale. It's a dragon scale. I wonder if it would make for like a good sledding thing.
No, for sure. You think they're just like randomly like, hey, you got any?
So everyone's
got any extra ones? We're gonna go sledding. You cool with that? Oh, they don't have fun here. They're just all death and stuff. Have they ever been sledding?
Right.
Probably not.
So everyone's in like a panic. They have like this like war council meeting going on. Everybody's kind of standing around like, what the fuck do we do? Violet's kind of in this daze, and she speaks up about like what she thinks should happen. She's like, this is my sister. Like, and Trissa is like, cadets belong in formation and not in battle strategy. And then Xaden does his like ice over and says she belongs at my side. Brennan says, okay, well, now I'm starting to understand the whole like consort missive that I got. The thing that I think stood out to me during this scene was Brennan's ability to think so fast on several different things and several different outcomes. He is an unparalleled tactician and strategist. Is this his second signet? Does he have a second signet?
At this point, I think we're just handing out signets to everyone. So does everyone just have a signet? You know, you get one, you get one, you get one.
I don't know, but like he's a mender. He's got this brain that works super fast. So I'm like, is this a second signet? I don't know.
He is
or
older.
Is she just really that smart?
Maybe it's experience.
I don't know. Xaden will do anything to save Violet. And Xaden asked Garrick again, what specifically did she say? And he was like, well, bring Violet and your brother. Brother meaning Jack. Jack fucking Barlow, because this guy won't fucking die. Jack fucking Barlow.
Do you think it could have?
And so Brennan says, you think
but Violet kept feeding him for information? Do you think he could have like desiccated? I mean, they kept him in there for a reason.
If we go back to right, they kept him alive for a reason, and Violet did keep feeding him with the alloy from the things. But they did say in the trials that they did that poison killed Venom.
Right.
Okay. So bookmark that. Brennan says to Violet, you can only do one. Like there are 3 different objectives happening right now. 1, save Mira. 1, save Drathis. 1, save all of the people currently climbing up the Madaro Pass to get to safety. those are the 3 objectives that they are faced with right now. You can only do one. What is it that you want to do? She's like, well, I have to save Mira. And so the only way to do that is to kill Theophany. And he's like, okay, fine. That is your objective. You cannot think about anything else. Your objective is to kill Theophany. And he's like, I didn't see this as an option, but this is what we're going to go with. Can you
option
stick
4
to your objective? If you, option 4 at this point, if you can stick to that, we'll send these people here, we'll send these people here, and we'll make sure that, objective 2 and objective 3 are taken care of. You cannot worry about these 2 objectives. Your sole focus is to kill Theophany, and that is it. That is it. Done skis, nothing else. So they fly out. So they're a 4-hour flight from Dreythus. And so when Garrick showed up, he's like, you have 5 hours to get there. So they literally have 30 minutes to figure out what the fuck they're doing, get on their dragons and fucking fly to make sure that they make it there within that allotted time frame. And so on the 3.5-hour flight so far, it's completely silent. The last 30 minutes, Violet's like, this is a trap, right? And Taryn's like, well, of course it is. And then all of a sudden, Violet starts feeling guilty.
What have they been doing for 3.5 hours?
Just like silent, lying. I don't know. I don't know.
Yep. No, I've confirmed with you. Yes, we can hear each other. Obviously, I'm going through the same shit you have, but we're still doing it because we're assholes. I don't even know why Taryn even cares. Kin is not like his kin, but he's going because it's a Violet's kin.
But it said, like, Kaori's Field Guide to Dragonkind says in there that dragons will put dragonkind ahead of humans, even their own bonded riders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Taryn says to her, like, when she starts, So Taryn says to her when she starts feeling guilty and like in all of her feelings and everything like that, he's like, you are our lightning wielder. And while your life may not matter more than other riders, your signet does. You are the weapon and will have to learn to accept the sacrifice of others in your name if you want to win this war. That I thought was a very, I don't want to say profound, but I feel like profound statement, because Violet she's just wanting to do what she needs to do. She doesn't want responsibility. She doesn't want leadership.
Everyone's gonna die.
And that's kind of what I feel.
Everyone's gonna die. Nope. He goes, you're our lightning wielder.
Gonna die.
Our lightning wielder. And while your life may not matter more than other riders, you're gonna do what you need to do. You're gonna die, girl. You're the weapon.
Yeah.
Like, you have to learn to accept
sacrifice needs to happen in war.
She's gonna
a lot of people are gonna die. Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be kind of upset. Like, I need something that's gonna really rattle me.
I don't want them to die. I want them to live happily ever after.
Well, obviously.
But we'll get there.
But if they did, wouldn't you be like, fuck, that was good? And also, what the fuck, Rebecca? I'm just saying. Like a sad happy ending? Like they saved mankind, but they died together? What did I say?
Like, I don't want this to be
very first episode.
I don't want this to
Romeo
be
and
a
Juliet,
Nicholas Sparks novel.
Die. No,
I don't want that. I want
dead.
them to like live happily ever after. Just shut up. Just shut up with your
in the sky
terrible ending ideas.
In the afterlife.
When they're flying in, she immediately believes that he thinks so. Violet thinks Taryn thinks they should have stayed and let Mira be the sacrifice. And he's like, no, if I thought that, we would still be in Orisha and you would be walking right now. Okay, so she's like all in her feelings. They start to fly into Dreythus. And so where Dreythus is located is a mountainous valley. So it's a valley within like the mountain range. It's a little bit higher set up than where Ressin is, but not far from Ressin and Pavis. And it's close to the Madaro Pass and the cliffs of Draylor, the cliffs of Draylor. So there's the whole mountain region that runs there. And so Dreythus is set in kind of like this valley that's right there. And Theophany wanted to meet them on the northern side of the city in a field or a plain that was over there. And when they're coming in for a hot landing, Taryn tells Violet that Molvik, which is Arc's dragon, was spotted along the cliffs, but they were flying south, kind of away from the city and away from the battle. And Violet's like, fucking Auric, like, why can't these first years just listen to fucking instructions and stay the hell away from here? Like, what is wrong with these guys? What is wrong with them? And he's like, well, it's not like Mulvik to like shy away from a fight, fucking coward, right? Like, that's like what they're thinking. And as they get closer, they notice that 12 wyvern have been circled on the field, and they have chains around him holding him down. And several of his scales have been ripped off and are like flying all over the flight field. And Theo has Mira with a dagger to her throat and one to her ribs. And so Violet's like, what up, bitch? I'm here. Well, what are you going to do now, bitch? And Theophanie's like, well, you're going to turn. Like that's what's going to happen. You're going to turn. And Violet's like, no, I don't think I'm going to. Try again.
The wrong person.
Okay, I'm not going to do that, but thank you though. And Berwyn is somewhere waiting for Xaden and
Berwyn the
asks,
sage.
who would you Berwyn the sage, that's Xaden Sage that turned him, and was like, well, who are you going to defend, Violet? Are you going to defend the civilians? Are you going to defend your lover? Are you going to defend your sister? What's it going to be? Garrick just happens to show up at the same time. So Garrick's the distance wielder. The brother they realize is Jack. So they have, I don't know how Garrick did this, gets into Basgiath, gets Jack, puts Jack in the Rybstad chest. I thought the Rybstad chest was ruined from Takaris' field, but apparently not. So he got the Rybstad chest from somewhere to Basgiath.
I think they
threw Jack in it.
They're
so
like, that's ours now.
It's a good question. I don't know. They just they all of a sudden have it. Jack is like all emaciated, suspended in the Rybstad chest.
Emaciated shrimp.
So, yeah, Violet throws a dagger at Theophany, and Theophany is like, you've already tried that and you're not learning. Takes the dagger and throws it at Jack to kill Jack. Why does Theophany want Jack dead? But why does Theophany want Jack dead? Xaden's shadows get the dagger so that Theophany can't kill Jack. Yeah.
They need him.
And so Violet's like, you have Jack, let my sister go. And Theophany's like, that wasn't the deal. I said Drathus would stand. I didn't say that your sister would live. First thing, we are careful with our words. Second thing, we lie. And then slits Mira's throat. Fucking slits Mira's throat. I was like, motherfucking goddamn it. We were going to get through this whole fucking book with, we had a couple Tarn scares that we thought he was going to die.
And
we had a Riddick scare that we thought Riddick was going to die.
Well, Traeger
and now
died.
we're like, fucking Traeger did die, but Traeger was kind of like, like
he's new.
He wasn't a main character. He was not a main character. Mira gets her throat slit. I was like, what the literal fuck? No.
Shouldn't have had that fight.
No. And then he's like, time to play, Violet. And I'm like, the first thing that's like coming to my head is like, Saw. Would you like to play a game?
It's time to play a game.
Yeah. And then Theo takes off on her wyvern.
Her tricycle.
And of course, her Violet's like, Malvik, no, not Mira. And like she's saying, I will yell at any deity who will listen. And then Brennan runs over and is yelling at Mira, you will live. Do you hear me? Okay, Brennan.
You hear me?
Getting excited. Do you hear me? And then tries to mend her with her like slit throat. But he's like already nearing burnout. And like I think the blood is slowing. But yeah, he's nearing burnout. And Violet says back to Malik, you cannot have her. And then swears that the sky darkens in acknowledgement or mocking.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is broken. So Xaden orders Garrick to get Jack back in the chest and get him out of here. And said if she wanted him dead, he obviously knows stuff that they don't want us to know.
If you wanted me dead, you should just said.
What does Jack know?
What do you know?
Does Jack know?
What do you know?
What does Jack know? And then all of a
something.
sudden they see two red dragons fly in, and Sloane and Dane arrive. And so like Sloane lands, Dane's been like chasing her in, and they're like, why the fuck are you here? Why
Probably
are you
chasing her
here?
down,
And
like,
Dane's like, well,
"Stop
I'm
it, cadet, get
following
back
her
there."
ass.
Come on, get it.
Get back there.
Get it back in formation.
But yeah, Dane's like, I'm following her ass. Like, why? Like, she's not listening. And then Sloane gives Violet a package from Arik saying that you need this. And she begs Sloane to help. Mira's dying. She's like, please, 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 whatever you can do, please. And Sloane's like, I don't know what to do. And Dane's like, okay, you can take my power, transfer it to Brennan. That should give him enough power so that he can keep mending Mira to save her life. And Dane's like, just use me. Just wrap your hand around my wrist. Use me. Then when she wraps her hand around his wrist, her eyes flare and says, someone like you shouldn't have this much power. What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? What does that fucking mean? Like, we know he can read recent memories. He can't do anything in battle. He has no power to wield in battle. And battle. He doesn't have a battle because he doesn't have a fighting signet. And then Sloane says to Dane, I thought this was kind of funny. Sloane says to Dane, I'm going to hurt you. And Dane's like, God, don't I know it?
Gods, don't I know it? And then like, I feel like he winks.
So
can
he read more? No, he did not wink. But can he read more than memories from touch? Has he enhanced his signet where he can read more than memories? Well, they wouldn't be memories. They would just be like future things.
Future occurrences?
I don't know. But that was a weird statement. Like, gods don't I know it. So they definitely, I think, have something going on there. Anyways, Sloane transfers the power. And then Dane says, don't thank me just yet. They save Mira. Dane says, don't thank me just yet. Just tell me how the fuck Garrick disappeared in the thin air.
Like, what? Calm down, wing leader. Or
calm down, Dane.
He's not wing leader anymore.
Yeah. You just fucking calm down. Like, it's fine. But Violet notices that there's no marking on Dane's wrist or Brennan's neck from when Sloane siphoned the power. And it specifically said, like the one Brennan carries on his palm. Because Sloane is siphoning from one person to another, is it not taking magic out of balance? And because Nolan siphoned from the earth, did that mark Brennan?
That's a good question.
Things to think about.
I know. She's like, that's weird. It doesn't have a rune. Like, I think she assumed that's why Brennan has it. Why hadn't she asked Brennan what the fuck it is? She just noticed it and just, oh my God, be open with your fucking siblings that you thought was going to be dead for 6 years. What the fuck's on your hand?
Book 4.
But yeah, right. So it's different. But also thinking that Dane or someone like you shouldn't have that much power. Is there something else that his power is from besides just him and his dragon? Like, what is that? And is that another reason why there isn't a rune? Like, but if Nayland pulled from the earth and was trying to save Brennan, that rune would be different. Or maybe it's a different rune. I kept thinking it was a rune that hid him from people like Melgren or whatever. Like, they can't find him because he wanted to be hidden the whole time. I think they will go over that, but it's not clear right now.
So Xaden is still there, and he tells Violet, only use Terran's power. Do not turn and do not die. And Violet says, come back to me. And Xaden says, only ever you. And he says to Bodhi, stay with her, but remember your promise to me. And Bodhi's like, I don't want your fucking province. And Xaden's like, noted. And Xaden leaves with Sigale, and Bodhi says, now that the Duke of Angst is gone, we have a problem. What is that problem?
The Duke of Angst. Love it. Terran tries to get Tyne to wake up and get him to safety in the wards of Eratia, but he's not waking up. It's a problem. She's like, can Garrett carry him? It's like, no, dude, he's almost drained. Terran can carry him in chains. Terran's like, I will not leave you, Violet. I will not leave you. That's like, well, dragons protect their own over their own bonds. So Terran's like, do not lecture me on dragon laws, or you'll see how quickly I will break them. He takes Tyne Is it Tyne or Teen? I keep saying Tyne. Mirror's dragon
I think
Tyne.
it's Tyne.
And picks him up. He leaves. He carries him to safety. He's like, do not leave this spot. She's like, okay, I will not fucking leave this spot. Jesus, till you get back. Theo arrives. Theophany. Actually, she's grown on me too. I really like Theophany. She's a good villain. I like her. I feel like I could have a really weird beer with her. She comes in. She's like, magic requires balance. She's like, the oldest rule. It's the oldest rule out there. Duh. I will prove myself to him, whoever him is. This time, I will prove myself to him.
Someone greater. We don't know who he is.
He will be impressed if there's someone greater who presents Violet to him. There are a few who are faster and older, but she is the opposite of her mother. She wields storms, not lightning, storms. The fucking tornado at Anka was her. The storms over in fucking Risha, her. Storms. All the shit was her. It's not lightning. She's a fucking mimic of her goddamn mother. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Okay.
Lilith was the balance to Theophany.
Which means someone's got to have that now, right?
I think there would be like a new manifestation of a storm wielder.
Knowing that
Is there a lightning wielder?
That's a good question. Well, we don't know if they want it equally balanced. No, that doesn't make any sense. They don't want divinity at all, right? Does magic want it completely balanced? And that's what magic demands? Shit. Oh, shit. This is going back to what I originally thought. I don't know if I can bring it up now, but it might have to be brought up later when we're done. Magic itself. Back in Hedotus. Remember when he was climbing on the terrace, or he was just sitting on the terrace? Like, I just assume it's a patio of some fucking hotel, but it's like a house, like a mansion. He's sitting on the patio, sulking.
With the charcuterie
and Violet
board.
comes out there and brings the charcuterie board. And she's like, hey. And then he's like, pulls her over him to like kiss her. And he's like, oh God, I'm sorry about your ribs. She goes, it's okay. The best medicine is time. Without magic, the best medicine is time.
Mm-hmm.
That to me still sticks in my brain. They're going to get rid of all of magic, whether the dragons need to leave or cut ties with the people or what. I think that is the cure to everything, and that they'll live without magic and they'll figure it out. And hopefully they'll figure out technology and how to use and make fucking cell phones or something. You know what I mean? There's a balance here. So I hope we don't run into a violet lightning, but I think we might. So Bodhi, you got to leave. You got to leave. You can't counter any of them. When Theo, it's just Theo and Vi there, Theophany and Violet. She's like, I can't be everywhere. And I don't have to be. I have lightning. Yes, let me try this. I can do this. I can do this. Cuts off. It's Rhiannon's chapter. You're like, oh, we get a Rhiannon chapter? Fun. It's a lot of just in the battle moments. She's out with the rest of everyone else, guarding the city, getting civilians to safety. Rihanna's in charge on this. She witnesses Riddick doing some crazy ass shit, as usual. And he places his hand on a wyvern. It's like, dude, like his dragon flips upward. He's on the back, holding his hand upward, touching the belly of a wyvern. She's like, what the fuck is he doing? You know what he does? Freezes it from the inside out, just like the orange. And my God. She's like, holy shit. Thing just drops dead. Regroup. Your orange chick?
I think they were stationed over, their group was stationed over the Madaro Pass.
Yes. Well, they're in they're trying to get people to safety. So they have quadrants that they're all in, trying to keep people safe.
Yep.
Riddick. Violet. Back to Violet. So Theophany whips out a poison dagger. Oh, hell no, girl. Do you not want it forever with him? Says Theophany. I just assume that just sounds like, she's like, I already fucking do. She's like, oh, well, not in the way that you want. We're excellent actors, but our kind doesn't feel what you call love. Yeah, okay. Calm down. Xaden feels it. I know he feels it. I feel he feels it. And then Theophany's like, to survive in our world, you must protect the magic that sustains you. Do you know how to keep from being drained by this method? And she's like, fuck you. At that moment, Theophany's draining the ground, and she has, it's simple. Occupying ground that has already been had his magic repurposed, creates a barrier. So the easy solution is to drain it yourself. Okay, well, fucking Violet's just running and jumping. She's like, shit, there's a wyvern. There's like a dead wyvern there, or like a one that's incapacitated. I'm going to jump on it. It's repurposed magic, right? So I should be fine. And then she avoids getting drained. And Theophany's like, oh, clever girl. So Sigil, oh my God, Sigil arrives and she jumps up, grabs her. Theophany is like distant walks to Drathus, like, okay, I guess we're done here. She's like, throws her in the air. I got really confused by this, but she throws her in the air. She's like, yeah, I'm done here. But Tyrion catches her and then pulls her back on and takes her off. It's like, okay, a really weird way of saving me, but thanks, I guess, Sigil. Very awkward. Very awkward.
Because I think she was closer. I think Sigil was closer. So like swooped in, grabbed Violet, and then
she's like, you're right,
Tyrion,
bye.
Let go of her and went on her merry little way.
Take your little human. Pissed off. That's why my person has turned venom in the first place. Violet finally joins the actual fight. And she throws a lightning up, killing dozens of wyvern. They're like, fucking finally, right? Where have you been? There's a tornado. Theophany, thanks. One objection. Fly forward, Theophany. Head of a snake. Let's get her. She's done for. Where the fuck is Aiden? Where the fuck is he? Nobody has seen him. Also, Tyrion relates Bodhi's in trouble. Bodhi's in trouble. Now you have Imogen's chapter. She and Quinn are killing it. Okay, so they're taking the bad guys down, but they're saving people. They're like, listen, we need to evacuate. There are dark wielders coming to the wall and they're going to start draining the shed's place. Fuck, I need to go find Quinn. Quinn, we need to get out of here. She's running over. She's kills some more people. Quinn is in the battle down there. She's like looking over kind of into the, I guess, the courtyard of the building. And there's a dark wielder there. She's like holding him off, doing her astral projection, Quinn is, and holding off that dark wielder and then throwing a dagger. And then by the time Imogen gets down there, she's like, Quinn, we need to go. The dark wielder throws a dagger, but Quinn moves. And she's like, oh, thank God. He falls down. But then Quinn turns around and she's got a dagger in her chest. And she's like, oh my God. Or like her intestines. She's like, no, Quinn, no. She runs towards Quinn, holding her while she's falling down. Quinn is dying. There's no one around. Her best friend, her best girlfriend is dying. And she's like, I'm sorry, I have to be the one to go this time. Which throws me off on like, is there another plane? Have they been together before? Has Violet and Xaden been together before? Have they been reincarnated gods? I'm just saying. She says, I'm sorry, I'm the one that has to go this time. And they replay like how they first became friends. And it was just really sad. That got me. Quinn's dead. Garrick shows up. Okay. Garrick shows up. Aemon is talking about watching the stones because there's dark wielders outside the building. She's holding her, cradling her in her arms, watching the stones begin to pale in color one by one, like as if Quinn was simply taking the color with her. So odd. Why would it be draining underneath Quinn? Number one. But we knew they were draining from the walls from outside, but should that be gradually draining from underneath them? And would they be feeling that? But it's draining underneath
I don't
Quinn.
think it was underneath them just yet. Not yet.
Just saw it from the edges.
She said that because she was locked in a memory. She was locked in a memory of like when her and Quinn first met. And she said she's staring off at the stairwell in the distance and watching it lose color.
Okay.
And but that's like the venom were outside the walls, draining it from
slowly,
within, essentially.
Okay. It's sad. It's sad. Poor Quinn. But we liked Quinn. Quinn was good. So Garrick shows up and he says, there's 6 of them outside. They're draining the stone one by one, all of them. We need to go. We need to go now.
Gotta go.
She's like, I can't leave her. Okay, I will fucking pick her up. Let's fucking go. So they pick up Quinn's body and he's like, I barely have anything left in the tank. We have to dreamwalk now. He takes one step to distance walk. Okay. I feel like Garrick channeled because at least this is what Ashley thinks. He walks onto the step.
That is true.
The color is going while he steps and distance wields all of them. And he's already said he's exhausted. He's fucking exhausted. he's got to save. I think he's got to save her. He
But
loves
they
her.
don't go
right?
very far.
They don't go very
They
far.
don't go very
but
far.
She notices the color drain from the ground, and then he takes a step onto the ground, and not just like it's been there and he leaves real quick. He takes a step into something that's already desiccated and desiccating and leaves with them. To me, that makes me think Garrick is channeling. And we haven't gotten to later in this book in order to describe why I think that, but we will get there.
But he didn't reach down and channel. I don't think you can channel through your feet. That's just me.
Are you sure?
Continue. Yeah.
That's fair, but are you sure? Maybe those are just, well, did Theophany touch the ground? Did Berwin touch the ground? Was the sage touching the ground? Maybe that's just what initiates do or asins do.
I think so.
Because they don't know how. So Garrick picks up a dead Quinn and a very sad Imogen and gets him to safety with Andrathus. And he has his head hanging low down to Professor Trissa. They notice at a distance, Bodhi is on his hands and knees on the ground, retching. Like just retching. Why are you on the ground?
Puke his guts up.
Why are your hands on the ground, Bodhi? Okay, there's an excerpt. A gift from one servant of Dunne to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield the wrath. I will pray to her that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who carries her favor. That's a lot of words. That's a mouthful. Her path is still not set. Recovered correspondence of High Priestess Desiree to His Royal Highness Cadet Auric Grey Castle, from a gift from one servant to another of Dunne. Okay, so that means it's Priestess Desiree to fucking Auric. I must warn you, only those who are touched by the gods should wield the wrath. Just the ones that are touched. Just the ones that are touched. Okay. I pray that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who carries her favor, which means you hope you don't have to use it against someone who is carrying her favor because she wasn't just touched, she's dedicated. All right. So does that mean that she doesn't need to use it in order to become vetted, or just to reacquaint herself and the other who carries her favor? I've amended what I have here. So it's someone who is fully dedicated is not someone you need to have go up against someone who is touched. So what I'm thinking is someone who is touched is higher than someone who's just dedicated. You were touched. If you were dedicated, you're not like a runt. You're just someone who's there, who's part of and carries out the rest of what Dunne wants in your dedication. If you're touched, this to me thinks that you held more favor with that god or goddess than dedicated. Does that make sense?
Than being dedicated. I don't know. Theophany had power as a high priestess of Dunne, and she wanted more power, and so she became Venin. So as priests or priestesses of the gods, they have some sort of power. What that power is, we don't know.
So what you're saying is she wanted more power. I think that because of what they said here is that Violet, who is touched, has more power because it's like, oh man, she better not go up against this person. Hopefully that will not be the case. I will pray to her that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who carries her favor. So is that Malik? Does Malik also carry Violet's favor? Or do they mean with the other? I was thinking more along the lines of someone like, it's not Violet, but someone else who carries her favor, who carries Dunne's favor,
or is
because
it meaning
they were
Theophany?
Dedicated. That's what I'm saying. Or another
That's what I'm saying.
lightning
Like,
wielder.
does it mean Theophany because Theophany was dedicated and it's reacquainting Violet with Dunne's favor? I don't know. That one hurts my head.
I think there's two ways this can go. Okay, so Priestess Desiree and His Royal Highness Cadet Grey Castle. It's the longest word ever. Longest name ever. Okay. Does that mean she needs to use it to avoid becoming Venin? Well, I think there's more on that. We can go into it later. It's not that I don't think it's related to Xaden. I think that it could be other gods or another person like her who maybe there is a light wielding venom. So another person who has also died themselves. So hopefully they said that she would be good. She would be more favored being touched rather than everything else. So I think that's going to be part of the story that's going to be significant. I don't know. So at this point, Violet needs to divert Theophany to the forest to keep people safe. So she dodges all of her lightning. She's super fast. She's like, well, I can't beat this bitch. They would go out there, her and Taryn. Net was cast over them. Taryn and Violet, bringing them down. Violet wiggles herself out, right? And then she like snaps one of her arms, and while like Theophany approaches, one of her runes she was able to cut. She cuts the net for Taryn to like get him free. And Violet realizes that she has I had this package from Sloan/Auric. She's like, I guess I should fucking look at it. Like maybe it'll be helpful. She opens it up and it's something from Auric that says, well, actually, no, it's not. It's from the Dunne Temple. It says, for when you lose yours, strike in the dark, Violet. From the Dunne.
But that's a note from Auric.
Temple Dunne. From Auric, it says, for when you lose yours, strike in the dark, Violet. A ceremonial dagger with flamed etchings falls out of the packaging. How would Auric know I would lose my dagger? She thought. Premonition? Precognition? So Theo's net also, she found out, takes down Sigale and Xaden. It's further away. It's probably Berwyn's net, or it's a net they use. So Violet starts wielding. She's missing. She's so fast. I can't get her. Oh, God. She's nearing burnout. Violet, tell me, do you miss Unreal? Do you not yearn for Temple? And Theophany's like, do you? Or are you immune, having been touched and not dedicated, never being able to return? And it was to sever the very thing that keeps me untouchable all these years.
So this is what I said earlier, and I said I would come back to this towards the end. So never being able to return, and it was severing the very thing that kept me untouchable after all these years. So does becoming a high priestess make you immortal?
She is older than she looks. We do know that.
But what has severed the very thing that's kept her untouchable all these years? There's something with Dunne that has kept her untouchable, but something was severed.
I think it's venomism, because they've talked about all the other ones who have been around for so long and how young they look. Like, I've been waiting centuries for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, shit like that. Erwin's been around because he said shit like that. I think it's venomism, which sounds nice. You could just stay young forever and have a long life with someone. So maybe Violet will do it. Rate this. Is in darkness. Violet is at this point, she's like, I can't take her down. I'm trying so hard. Taryn's down. And there's no one here to help me. I'm lightning striking her. She's avoiding every single one of them. Shadow spreads, devouring the entire field in a fury of an onyx storm. An onyx storm, folks. Violet's heart shatters. I love you. She shouts down the bond, sealing it in before he shuts the ice completely while it cracks. Taryn in the back of her mind is like, strike now, use the darkness. She has to whip herself out of it. And she takes the dagger that Auric gave her in the package and goes straight for Theophany. He knew this would happen. Auric did. He knew Xaden was going to use Go Full Venom. I don't like it, but he knows. I think that's his signet. I wonder if Xaden confronted him and found out, was like, you need to help her out. Or he just knew. Violet uses the darkness and lights up the sky. One lightning bolt strand throws it down right in front of Theophany, making her stumble back into a wall. Like she stumbles back. She's like, she turns around. It's not a fucking wall. Guess who it fucking is? And Darna, I am where I'm needed. Like, I feel like she's Southern now. I don't know. Sam was apparently crying at that point again. Violet lunges her dagger right into Theo. Oh, I can't be killed by a dagger. Oh, bitch. This has a piece of the fucking temple in it. You done, bitch. You dead done. So this one was dead because of part of the temple structure was embedded in the dagger. But the rest of them, shit, man. You just got to go old fashioned. So Dunne is a wrathful goddess to high priestesses and those two who turn their back on her. She said, she did. Violet collapses from almost burnout.
But God, like just this whole thing has been like the biggest emotional roller coaster. I just can't even take it. We get our one Xaden point of view chapter. It goes back a little bit and Xaden is fucking pissed. So where he's at, he's south of Drathis. So Violet was in the north field of Drathis. Xaden's on the south field of Drathis. Fucking Pancheck is there. Pancheck is the traitor, fucking Pancheck. And he's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, I can't kill him, meaning Berwyn, his sage, who, you know, was supposed to be dead, that's not dead. And he says, the bond between Violet and me is the kind of magic that has no explanation.
That's why I think they're connected with like some god type shit. I'm just saying.
Right. And he said the bond between Berwyn and me is the kind that should never exist. Venonism. He's like, now my sage has another brother to use against me. I'm screwed. My new brother, how could he do this after watching me struggle for 5 months? So this could either be Garrick or Bodhi. Those are our two options here. And said, fucking Pancheck giving away Violet's location. So now we know everywhere Theophany showed up or knew where Violet would be was because of fucking Pancheck. And he's like, he's fucking dead. And shit, Berwyn just killed a dragon with a dagger. How? Great question. Yeah. I'm hoping we'll learn that in book 4.
Well, yeah, because that was like just thrown out
so
there.
So they have Sigale
like willy-nilly without any other explanation or follow-up. Like, what?
Right. So Sigale was taken down by the net, just like Taryn was. Berwyn starts to walk towards Sigale, and Xaden's like, no, motherfucker. He's like, I don't just skate over the ice. I fucking become it. And like throws his daggers, channels so fucking hard. Like the sage gets knocked unconscious. His new brother gets knocked unconscious. And he sends this, Pancheck gets knocked out. This whole wave of like blackness goes out, and he looks for the heartbeats that are specific to Wyvern and rips the runes, like the stones, out from the center. So kills all the Wyvern and the Venom that are out, and is like out looking to save Violet and Taryn. Finds where they're at and knocks Theophany over, sends like a whisper, soft shadow caress along Violet's face, and you know she knows that it's him, and captures that I love you, and says the same thing. It cracks the ice, a silken warm thread that slips in before it seals shut, locking it in place. Oh my God, it makes me want to cry.
Yarros.
And he said, I grab that thread and tug on it. She is warmth and light and air and love. Oh my God, I'm getting like teary-eyed.
She's sky.
He doesn't say that she is the sky. He doesn't say
but
that
warmth,
she's the
light,
sky.
air, and love.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
So obviously after channeling so hard, like so fucking hard, he looks at Sigale and was like, so fucking hard. He's like, will you forsake me now? And walks over to Berwyn's unconscious body, wishing that he could kill him, and he can't. And he's like, I wonder how many initiates feel the same way about their sage. At least he knows of this Jack. Okay. Does Jack also want to kill the sage?
I don't know. Oh,
after rereading it, I don't know. I don't know if it's himself or in addition to.
Okay.
But anyways, it's physically impossible. So now we know, like in the Venom order of things, initiates are not able to kill whoever, quote unquote, forced them to turn. It's some weird bond thing that they can't do.
Yeah, no, it sucks. Sure, they'll talk about it.
But says something super weird. He said, but the sage has something that he needs. Xaden needs. What does he have that Xaden needs? What does he have that Xaden needs?
What do you have? Are you asking me?
I don't have anything. I'm asking, like, because I don't fucking know.
A cure. It's gonna be a cure.
You think he has a cure?
He's gonna
so the Venom know how to cure themselves.
No, because they don't want to be cured.
Well, we're gonna hope that's
why they keep saying there is no cure.
We're gonna hope that's what it is.
I think it's a fucking lie. Oh, but the other thing is they want dragons.
Well, that could also be because Theo wanted to kill Jack because Jack knew something that they didn't want them to know.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't know. Or is it that the sage knows who within the ranks of Navarre has been a traitor? And I will tell you why I think that could be it. He said when he's talking to Sigale, someone owes me a favor and her decision will determine our fate. But in that context, he is not talking about the priestess. He is talking about Violet. Violet's decision will determine our fate. As in Xaden and Sigale's fate.
Right.
So Violet is found on the grounds of the courtyard of Ryerson House 12 hours later. And Brennan's like, where the fuck have you been? Where the fuck have you been? And she's like, wait, what? Like, brain's all foggy, and Darna's there, and she's trying to reach out to Taryn, but like that connection's all foggy. Like, he's resting, and Darna pipes in, and she's like, well, he needs a cycle of rest to recover. And she's like, recover from what? And Darna's like, I promise I won't let them burn you. What? Why would she get burned? Like, does that mean like as a traitor? Like, what does that mean? What? Like, why would she say? Like, what does that even mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, that's that meme right there. I am so confused about this particular moment in time. Why would they burn her? And then we find out that Garrick is missing, along with there's dead dragons and 4 missing riders and 6 missing eggs from the hatching grounds.
Yep.
And then she's got like a paper tucked in her pocket that falls out when she's trying to like touch her face or something. Brennan's like, can I open it? It has the seal of Dunne on it. And she opens it and it's a blessing of marriage to Xaden by the high priestess of Dunne's temple. And Imogen's like, your finger. And she's like, wait, no, yeah, I know I broke my arm, and looks down and sees like this giant emerald gold ring on her finger. And it says the emerald's the size of her thumbnail. And she's like, oh shit, that's the missing emerald from the dagger that's sitting in the glass case in the room. So Violet and Xaden are married. Hugh, Duchess of Tyrrendor. And then she's like, why the fuck can I not remember anything? And like, everything's like super foggy. And Brennan's like, oh, there's a note I think that's meant for you. And she flips over the missive. And all it says is, don't look for me. It's yours now.
X.
Don't look for me. It's yours now.
Don't look for me. It's yours now.
And then she looks over at Xaden, or not Xaden. She looks over at Imogen, like realizing like the fogginess.
She can't remember.
And she's like, I can't remember anything. And she's like, what did you do?
What did you do?
And Imogen is like, what you asked me to do. This immediately prompted me to remember the prologue of the book, where she's trailing Xaden to go see Jack. Who's trailing
Zach?
Xaden to go see Jack at the very beginning. Yeah, this is what happens when you drink wine and podcast.
No, it's Xaden and Jack
kerfuffled in your mouth.
Zach. It's very easy.
Zach. We're just going to combine it. It's fine.
It's fine.
So at the very beginning, the prologue, which is obviously right after the Battle of Basgiath, Xaden turns Venom. She's following him when he goes to speak to Jack. Afterwards, she's like, there is only one person besides Bodhi and Garrick that I can trust to prioritize Xaden's best interest. Only one person who can know the truth in its entirety. Tell Ghislaine I need Imogen.
Ghislaine, her dragon.
ends with
Imogen
Imogen saying, I Imogen saying, I did what you asked me to do. Was Violet playing the long game this entire time? Xaden was planning for him not being there. At the same time, was Violet setting things into motion as well? There's so much to fucking unpack here. Like, I can't even.
So we realize this was a lot more. So we will need to take all the theories into the next episode. As we both said, this book has wrecked our brains. It wrecked mine. I had to read it. I didn't have to read it. I read it back to back because I was on a deadline. I had to do book club. Sam came into town and we recorded the last session. Took us a while to upload because we had a lot of technical difficulties, but it was finally out there, and kudos to Sam. Want to unpack all of the theories, and we will do that on the next one. We want to get into it. You want to get into it. This has been amazing, Sam.
Oh man, my brain is still broken, but yes, I'm excited to get into our theories. And in the meantime, go read a fucking book.
Let's say cheers. I surprisingly have wine left.
Me too.
I don't.
I think I maybe drank half my bottle.
Nice. But we're so into this. We love this storyline so much. We love Rebecca Yarros. We're excited for the next 2 books, but we're going to continue on we're going to do theories after this one and go dive deeper into those. And then after that, we will be releasing our recorded ACOTAR series if you're interested in that. And we'll be going on from there. I think we have Quicksilver, Game of Throne of Glass, Crescent City, etc.
We have a whole lot lined up.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Read a fucking book. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.